Hi, everybody. Welcome back to YA at Heart. Yay. Woo. I'm trying to hype myself up because I'm really tired.
I woke up from a nap.
I did. I just woke up from like an hour nap, and I'm one of those people, Ashley and I were talking about it, where I don't wake up from a nap and I'm like, oh, I'm so rejuvenated. No, I wake up from a nap and I'm like, what year is it?
Did I miss anything? What's happening?
So bear with us, please. Guys, don't forget to follow us on social media at YA at Heart Podcast on Instagram and on TikTok, and at YA at Heart Pod on Twitter. And don't forget to check out our merch store.
Yes. We got hats. We got not scarves. We got.
We do not have scarves. Don't lie to those people.
Scarves because of Alina. No, we got hats. We got tote bags. We got shirts. We got
cups,
sweaters.
We got mugs.
Yeah, check them out.
We got stickers. We got it all. We got it all.
Yeah.
Yes. Today, we are recording the first episode for Siege and Storm.
We're back in the Grisha Verse.
When I tell you I missed the Darkling so much.
We'll get into it. My heart ached for this man in the first
8
chapters. Every time we got to him, I was just like,
I was like, oh, no, baby Darkling. He is a man going through a lot of trauma.
A lot of stuff.
And I know what you guys are saying, like, the story is about Alina and the Darkling is a villain. No, he is not a villain.
No.
He is more complex than that. Also, the way that Alina hurt him in so many ways, he's entitled to act out.
He's a morally gray character. And I understand that a lot of people have, like you said, a lot of people labeled him villain and stuff. But, like, I don't see a villain when I read his stuff.
Thank you.
It kind of makes sense. And I'm, like, sitting there, I'm like, I understand where he's coming from. I can't hate this character, or I can't wish bad on this character.
Right, when so much bad was done to him. Like, give him a break, man.
Now, Mal, throw Mal off the fucking ledge. I'm done.
Yes, please. Get rid of this boy. Like, yes. He's still not it for me. He's still not it for me.
He really isn't.
So let's go ahead and jump into chapter 1, right?
Okay.
Well, before we get to chapter 1, there's
the before.
Prologue, or preface, whatever. The before.
We're back at it.
Bruh, it always fucks me up.
Preface, which one is it?
Preface, prefacier, I don't
know. Tomato.
So in the before, it pretty much talks about how Mal and Alina are on a ship and they're heading away from West Ravka. He's adjusting to it, but she's having a very difficult time. Like, she's having nightmares about everything that happened, and, you know, she's trying to conceal the collar because she can't take that shit off.
Wearing scarves and stuff. And I'm like, bitch.
Yes. And I'm like, own that shit. No, I get it because she's trying to, like, run away. But still, she says when she has these nightmares, she says it's the only place where she can use her powers. And that kind of makes her feel sad because she wants to be able to use her power, but she also wants to be able to stay discreet. Like, she doesn't want to get caught.
This is one of the reasons why I think I would choose the Darkling over Mal. It's the life that you would lead with Mal is not a life truly yours.
Right.
Whereas the life you lead with the Darkling, you never have to hide yourself. You never have to hide your powers. You never would have to.
And he's always accepted you for who you were.
Facts! Since day one, this man has accepted her. Day one.
Always. So that pissed me off too. And Mal's like, oh, it's okay. And she's like, it's not okay, but all right.
See?
And they
like that breakdown. It's really not. It's not.
It's really
Should've
not.
Been a whole sign for her. She should have been like, all right, I need to get the fuck up out of here. Like,
oh, she's so annoying. They finally reach, I think it's called Novi Zim. And Alina says that she prays that they'll be safe there. And I'm like,
Okay.
I'm like, there's only so much that you can do to try to outrun the Darkling. Like, he's the Darkling.
Darkling.
He has money, power at his disposal. So if he wants you, he's going to find you.
Facts.
Yeah. So I was just like, all right, girl, go ahead and live your boring, mundane, basic ass existence.
Believe what you want to believe, but this is what's really gonna happen.
Right.
We move into chapter 1, and chapter 1 just kind of saw them trying to live their normal lives, I guess, and stuff. Alina is still skittish.
I get it though. I get it because she's constantly looking over her shoulder.
Right.
But not the fact that she almost shot a little girl in a red skirt. I was
because
like, whoa.
she thought she was a part of the Darkling's crew, and I was just
she thought
like,
she was a
what was it?
what is it?
Corporalky.
The corporalky.
Yes, corporalky. There we go.
Yeah.
And like,
yeah.
I'm like sitting there. I'm like, girl, no, calm down a little bit. But they're also hearing rumors that the Darkling made it, that he actually survived, and that he went underground. And I was just like, girl, you fucked up.
Bro, bad.
You fucked up.
That bitch shot and she missed and went, phew.
You done fucked up. That's all I'm saying.
She shot and she missed, and he's coming for blood. And I don't blame him. Now, my question was, he went underground. Does that mean that the king and everybody else knows that he made an attempt for a coup, to stage a coup?
I don't know, because I feel like that wasn't explained. At least not in the chapters that we read. So I don't know if the king actually knows that was the Darkling's plan, and that was the reason why once he survived the attack he had to go underground, or if he decided to go underground because he was still pursuing Alina. Do you know what I mean? Like,
gotcha. Yeah.
I don't know if I can speculate that, because that's like such a wide thing. Do you know what I mean?
I know. I feel like that would have been specifically mentioned.
Yes, I agree.
If that had happened, but I'm always like trying to figure it out. Also, Alina looks like Skeletor right now. Yo, she is not having a good time.
When the chick came up to Mal and was like, whenever you're done with skin and bones, I was like, the insult, okay?
Alina. I was like, first of all, you baby girl, you not using your magic.
I was just about to say that.
Is having such a horrible toll on you.
Exactly. And the fact that Mal doesn't see it like that bothers me. It bothers me.
Yeah. He's like, oh, we're fine. You're fine.
Right. No, we're not. We're not fine.
I have designer bags under my arms, shouting. It's bad. I can't eat.
Oh my God.
I can't sleep.
No, but I think this was one of the reasons why even in the first book we weren't okay with it, because we realized, because the Darkling was the one that explained it. And he was like, the reason that you look the way you do is because you're not using your powers. Once you actually start using your powers, you fill out very well because your powers are...
Yeah, you're healthier.
Correct. And so, the fact that Mal is okay with her looking like skin and bones, because that just means she's not using her powers, and he's okay with trying to hide that part of her, I'm just not okay with it. He's not the hero in my book at this moment. This ain't it for me.
No, and the Darkling tried to tell her that in the last book. He was like, listen, he's never going to understand who you are, what you are. And she's like, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, oh my God, somebody slap this bitch.
All I wanted was for somebody to hit the shit out of her, to throw some common sense up in there.
I wanted it to be like, you are Elastigirl. Pull yourself together.
Yes! Where is she? We need somebody like that. Just... That's all we need.
Bagra. It's Bagra. And we still don't know where the fuck she is.
Bagra's gone. So as this progresses, as this chapter progresses, they end up going up to a room, and I think it's in an inn, because they don't have an actual home. I think they're hopping.
No. Yeah, they're renting rooms at the same inn or boarding house.
But the moment they go up to this room, Alina looks outside and she sees somebody who makes eye contact with her and immediately looks away. And she's like, shit. So as she goes to tell Mal, yo, don't open up the door, he already opens up the door and they're snatched right in. And I was like,
bruh.
Oh.
Them spider senses were yep. Her spider senses were going off.
Immediately, Ivan is the one that snatches up Mal. So if Ivan's around, the Darkling's around. And wouldn't you know it, the Darkling is just sitting there and he's just looking at her. He's like, hi, Alina. I was like, yeah. I was okay with
he was just caught.
Yeah. So then what ends up happening is, initially they don't fight, but then Alina does try to fight. And this is when we realize the Darkling has developed a whole new fucking ability.
Yes. Which he was like, oh, I wanted to thank you for my gift. And we were
she's like, huh?
What gift? I tried to take your life, bro.
Right, exactly. And then he's like, no. I show gratitude where gratitude is like needed or whatever. And then he like forms this shit out of just straight darkness oozing whatever the fuck it is. And it's like, it's an actual person. It's like an actual body.
It's like a oh fuck. What did I imagine? You know how all in those scary movies where something is contorting and it's like,
oh god,
like Scarlet Witch in
I hate those. When she could turn it out the
like
mirror?
Scarlet Witch when she came out of the mirror.
Yes.
Okay,
spoiler
that's exactly what I was picturing for the shadows.
Oh, spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't seen Doctor Strange.
If you have not watched Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness yet, and you're mad that I spoiled that for you, that's your own fault. You have 1 week to watch all Marvel movies. 1 week before shit starts getting spoiled.
Some people didn't want to see it. But anyway, yes. So, like, that's what I pictured, too. Like, when he developed this whole body or whatever. And immediately, Alina's like, that is impossible. There's no way in fucking hell that anybody should be able to create any type of life. As a Grisha, you're not supposed to.
Before they get into it, too, she also asked him how they found her. And he was like, oh, you leave an expensive trail. The golden pins that she had in her hair when she ran from the palace, her and Mal used that to pay their way across the sea. And I was like, bro,
you an idiot.
You couldn't have just tried to sell all of those for money.
Right.
Like, that was so stupid. You left a paper trail. You could have been like, I have a structured settlement, but I need cash now. Like, just sell the pins. Why didn't you just sell the fucking pins? You wouldn't be in this fucking situation to begin with.
But see, that's the thing. Because me and Morgan had said this earlier. We're like, Alina's still fucking dumb. She's still dumb.
She's so dumb.
Because the smart thing would have been exactly what you said. Go sell the pins at one spot. And that's it. Get the money that you need off of it. Then have that money last it for however long you can. It's not like her and Mal weren't working. They were working. Right. So, like, just keep going. They're not good together. She just don't know. She don't know herself. She don't know what she's doing. Mal ain't good for her. Like, this is why. I'm going to shit on Mal for the entire rest of this day. I'm giving y'all forewarning right now.
No, but dead ass. And honestly, like, you might ask, why are you shitting in Mal, but not shitting on the Darkling? Again, he has been through a lot. Y'all see a monster. I see a man who's still trying to lift his woman up.
Facts. That's it. That's all it is.
That's it.
That's it.
That's everything.
He's trying to make her what she's supposed to be, and Mal is trying to make her what she's not. That's all I'm saying.
Right. At the end of the chapter, she does end up passing out because one of the little monster things, which we find out later, they're called Noviem.
Girl,
is it?
I saw a lot of these words, and I was like, we just gonna have to we gonna have to do a whole nother extra content with just the words from Grisha Verse.
Yeah, probably.
The funny thing is, I recognize some of the other words from the first book, but these new words had me like.
These new words had me fucked up. However you pronounce it, they're called the Nothings.
Yeah, that's basically the meaning. Yes.
I'm gonna just call them shadow monsters. And one of them bites Alina. She passes out. We move on to the next chapter. Now, I just want to say again, was the Darkling wrong for this? Yes. But I've had time to reflect.
Mm-hmm.
And that was only a small fraction of the pain and suffering that she caused him.
Facts.
So moving on to chapter 2.
So she seems to have like a memory of Anakuya. And I was trying to figure out what the symbolism was for this.
Thank you. Because I, too, was very confused.
She sees a woman walking and, like, she starts talking to Anakuya and she asks about if they're poor and things. And then she asks, why doesn't the husband buy a donkey? And Anakuya's like, well, because he has a wife. And I'm like, what the fuck does that mean?
I was like, no, wait a fucking minute. This bitch is trifling.
I felt the same way. I read that and I was like, wait, what? I was like,
right. Like, I know damn well she didn't just say what the fuck she just said. Because it's a no for me, dog.
And then she somehow reverted it to being a lesson on how you have to be kind to the Duke. And how you have to pray for the Duke's, like, health and blessings and things like that. And I'm like, what the fuck does the Duke have to do with this woman in an abusive relationship with this man who don't even want to buy a fucking donkey to help grab shit? Like, what? Tell me.
I was very confused, but I think that it might come around later. And if it doesn't, I am going to be very upset. I think it's on page 26. Okay. So she's in and out of consciousness in between these memories and in between what's actually happening real now. Life,
yeah.
Yeah. So she's on a ship heading back to what we most likely assume is Ravka. Correct. And she says that she is there with Ivan and with Genya. And Genya's like, drink. You have to drink. Bitch, I don't want nothing from you. You traitorous ass.
This is the one character that I think me and Morgan had two different views on. Morgan hated her guts, and I was like, but I understand the circumstances.
No, fuck that bitch. She also wakes up on page 27 and she says that some people are like trying to look at her and talk to her, and then they realize like, oh shit, they're coming, knock her back out. Yeah. And these are people that we have not met yet. So I was like, yep. That's suspicious. So she finally does come out of consciousness eventually. And this bitch, one of the first things that she says, where's Mal?
Mal is my Elaine in this book.
Oh my God.
Mal is my Elaine. I could care two shits. He could die Game of Thrones style. He is my Elaine.
Would not care
in this book.
Would not care. Rip the spine from
Rip the throat right out. Just right out.
Would not care.
Right there. Yeah. A Volcra. Straight.
I was straight. Just straight. He should have died in book 1. Why he's still here is beyond me.
Why is he still here?
Apparently he has some type of role to play. I don't know what that is, but apparently he's still here.
Oh my God.
So she's asking for Mal. And of course, they're not giving her any information. And then Ivan takes her to see the Darkling.
Ooh.
Now, they have a whole conversation, and there is a moment here. The Darkling's like, I prick you and he bleeds.
Mm-hmm.
Or I prick him and you bleed, and vice versa. And she's like, oh, I wouldn't expect you to understand the type of love that Mal and I have. He says, I understand enough. And he cups her face, and I'm like, he still loves you.
I know.
He still loves you. And all you're doing is talking about fucking Mal. Like, you're so disrespectful.
This, like, that whole little interaction made my heart ache. It made my heart ache. Because, like, you just know he's still hurt about, like, what she did. However, he still, like, loves her. There's still some type of emotion there for her. And he's just trying to understand, like, what is it that you see in this ordinary person that doesn't even allow you to be yourself?
Right.
Whereas here I am, I'm like trying to get you to be better than who you are, be greater for the Grisha.
What kind of life could he give you, Alina?
I can't. I ached for the Darkling in these little bits here.
Or I don't know if you noticed this also, but Ivan, so much more of a dick in this book.
Why? Right? Like, I remember him being a dick in the first book, but in this one, I was like, you bitch.
Well, you know what? It also could be because she left him to die.
She left everybody to die, though, on the damn ship. It was it was her and Mal or everybody, and she chose her and Mal.
You're like, whoops, I didn't expect you all to survive. This is awkward.
Really didn't. Yo, no, I honestly, she didn't expect them all to survive, so now it's like, fuck, the consequences. Like, now you have to deal with the fact that you left everybody to die.
If it isn't the consequences of my own actions.
This chick is fucked.
Honestly. She gets into a situation where she like falls or something like that, and Ivan kind of like jerks her up or jerks her forward, and one of the ship workers come to her aid, like, hey, don't treat her like that. Ivan, of course, being the asshole that he is, like, tries to do the heart crumple thing.
Yeah.
And like intimidate them. And then we meet a new person that comes up named Sturmhound. Sturmhound. Sorry.
Sturmhound.
Words. Sturmhound. And he's basically like, yeah, we don't fuck with that on our ship. Take that elsewhere.
He's like, this is my ship. He's like, I'm the captain now.
Right. Look at me. Look at me.
You're on my ship. What he's right. He's like, oh, my ship now. This man.
Dead ass.
Yeah. And I liked him. The moment he popped up and he stuck up for like Alina and stuff, I was like, oh, okay. All right. Maybe we have an ally.
Okay, I like him, but as he's on his way downstairs with Alina, he's like, oh yeah, girl, don't mistake my kindness for anything else. Like, I'm just here to get paid. And I was just like,
but Usually.
I'm taking people at face value from now on. I'm taking people at face value because you're not going to fuck with my emotions anymore. But I did have a question when we first met him and when he was like trying to convince her so much that he's like not there to help her and he isn't going to help them escape.
Right.
They were talking previously about the Sun Summoner cult.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, do you think him and like all of his crew are part of that cult? Yeah.
I didn't think so at first, but as we further get in, I was like starting to believe it. And I was like, oh, wait, it's like shit.
Yeah.
I was like, we just got away from the Darkling just for a cult. What we doing?
Bro. Yes. Okay. I want to bring it up later. So, Genya brings Alina dinner. They have a heart-to-heart conversation. Genya's like, oh, I missed you. And I'm like, bye, boo, tomatoes, bye. Genya is also very deluded. She says that she didn't even know what happened, the truth of what happened on the sand skiff when Alina left everybody to die.
She didn't know he was the Black Heretic.
That too. I was like,
she honestly believed all the stories. I really think that she honestly believed all the stories that he put out. I think ignorance is bliss. And I think she felt as though he saved her from a very, difficult situation. And she was just kind of like, I'll swallow whatever he.
Oh. Yeah, that's basically her.
That's basically what happened.
Yeah. At the end of the chapter, we also find out that there are some Grisha that have turned against the Darkling. So there's pretty much a civil war going on within the Second Army right now.
It's crazy. It's crazy that he lost his power like that. You know what I mean? Because he could do no wrong in front of the Grishas.
I know, but that's the thing. Like, Alina exposed him.
She did.
She exposed him. So some people were like, oh, yeah, it needs to be done like this. And then some of them were like,
no, it doesn't.
No, it's a little bit too crazy for me. I'm going to go ahead and take off.
I'm going to go somewhere else.
I'm going to take your Kefta off. I'm going to head out.
So then in chapter 3, what ends up happening is there wasn't much, I feel like, that happened in like the first like little bit of paragraphs. But we do, when she does go back to talk to the Darkling, she does get to see Mal. Basically, when the Darkling said that he was going to like keep Mal like safe or he wasn't going to do any harm to Mal, it's not because solely for Alina. It was actually that he is going to use Mal as a tracker. I was like,
for what? The second Morozova's amplifier. And I was like, wait a goddamn minute. Technically, a Grisha is only allowed to have one amplifier.
That's what Alina says.
Yeah. And he was like, yeah, but Morozova's amplifiers, they work different. They're supposed to be used together. And I was like,
what? But why wasn't this brought up in the first book? Can we explain?
Because you have to have something for the second book, I guess.
Because in the first book, he was solely looking for the stag. But like, at least that's what it seemed like. But now, as he explains, he wants Mal to track what they're calling, what is it, the sea wisp?
The sea whip.
There we go, the sea whip.
Also known as, I think, Riley.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
It's an ice dragon, yo. It's an
ice dragon. It is a goddamn ice dragon.
Right. And then I made a note of this just for you. In this book, there's a phrase used, like calls to like.
Oh my God, shut up. I was so angry. Okay.
And I was like, I gotta write this down.
After reading A Court of Frost and, not Frost and Starlight, A Court of Silver Flames, and jumping back into the Grisha Verse, I'm not ready for like calls to like. I'm not ready. There's also a moment in here where, the Darkling is giving Mal a week to find the sea whip. And when he walks away, Alina kind of stumbles and he steadies her by like pulling her close and putting his hand on the small of her back. And Mal's like, I'll kill you. I was like, whoa, first of all, buddy, calm down. She was never yours to begin with.
Right. Exactly.
Oh God. It's petty Darkling. And I am so here for it.
It's Lemonade Darkling.
It's Lemonade Darkling. And I am so here for it.
But this is also the chapter where like my heart ached for him as he was like explaining stuff. He also explains what happened to him after the attack. How the Volcra didn't actually attack him. So it turns out that they weren't going to attack essentially their maker. All they did was scratch him up, but they weren't going to eat him the way they normally go after people.
Right. It's like one of them went down to like kind of swoop him up and then realized, oh shit, one of us.
I'm like, he's like, oh shit, this is Papa. We got to put him down.
I also want to bring up that in the Darkling's cabin, he tells Alina that he knows what she truly feels when she's with Mal. Baby. Oh! And he was like, and it's not fulfillment.
Ooh.
I was like, whew.
Saw you all up in his soul.
Say it one more time for the people in the back.
Who can't hear. Please say it one more time for the ship that be sailing. That is, what is it? Melina? Whatever the fuck you want to call it. Say it in the back of because nah.
But she knows this and she's been saying this to herself and she's just chosen to ignore it. I'm always like, Alina, there's always a choice. And you can choose to go back to the Darkling.
We would all be very appreciative if that was the case.
Yeah.
No, but like I think for her, unfortunately, it's like she knows it, but she's so stuck on that childhood crush. On the, you know what I mean? That oh, we grew up together and like this is the person that I really love and he's seen me as a child and whatever. The issue though, and this is the thing I think, I wouldn't have a problem with Mal if he wasn't such a fuckboy. If he wasn't such like, we gotta hide your powers, you gotta wear a scarf, you gotta blah blah blah. Like he knows exactly what is happening to her with her powers being hidden and stuff. And like the fact that he's more than willing and more than happy to just keep telling her, like, we have to keep this hidden. We have to keep you. Blah. Granted, I understand that they weren't hiding. I get that. Mm-hmm. But, like, I feel like that's the issue I have with him. Is that he won't even let her, like, even when it's just them. Yeah. Let her use her powers just a little bit.
Right. You could let her use her powers just a little bit, like in the brightest of day.
Exactly.
Away from the city and stuff like that, just so she can get like a little bit of her health back. But he's just like, Mal is selfish and I'm not here for it.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. Yeah. So because Mal is supposed to be tracking the dragon, they actually do grab it and they found the dragon and like they grab it so that the Darkling could eventually make a whole nother amplifier for us. And that was the funny thing though. Alina went up to him and was like, please tell me that you found another gullible girl to give this amplifier to. And he's like, no, bitch, you're mine.
He's like, no, he was like, I wish I could. Somebody that was more deserving, somebody that was more grateful, somebody that was more affectionate. Yeah, he was like, I wish, but our fates are intertwined, Alina.
I know.
As much as which is what I heard, as much as I wish I didn't love you.
I love you.
I love you.
That's what I heard too.
We some toxic ass bitches, bro.
That's what I heard too. And I was like, oh, nah.
So that moves into chapter 4. And like Ashley said, they're trying to get the sea whip on board so the Darkling can kill it and give it to Alina or not have her kill it because he needs to be connected to her.
Also, just to let everybody know, so the stag is white. The stag was white. This dragon is white too. So all of what's his name?
Morozova's
amplifiers.
Well, I thought, but the third one is a firebird.
But
so that should be red, right?
I would assume so.
Also, on the front of the cover, it looks like a seafoam green.
Oh, but they describe it as white. Oh, anyway.
All right.
Anywho,
that's not the point. Right. The point is they're trying to get the sea whip, and then all of a sudden chaos breaks out. Mutiny. I don't know if you can mutiny your own ship, but you can mutiny the Darkling, and that's exactly what Sturmhond
says. That's exactly
what Sternum. I'm calling him Sternum. That's exactly what Sternum and his crew did. Him and the TNT twins and the rest of his crew.
I like that, the TNT twins. That's cute. You. Yeah.
Him, the TNT twins. They were all fucking up the Grisha, and at this point, Alina also notices that there are Grisha among his crew.
Yeah.
So it was a Grisha versus Grisha battle, but some of them were with the Darkling, and then some of them were with Sternum. And so there was one point, and I'm sorry, there was one point where the Darkling got shot. And he was like, wait a minute.
He run it really well.
How the hell?
Yeah.
I said that that too. He was genuinely shocked and confused that he got shot. And I was too, because the Kefta is supposed to be bulletproof.
Right. And it was Sternum or somebody who shot him. And I was like, hold up. I was like,
that has to be a mishap.
Right.
But Alina did describe earlier in the chapters that whatever he was doing to create those monsters, it was taking a strain on him physically and on his power. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe that means that his Kefta isn't as bulletproof anymore. I don't fucking know. I don't know. But y'all better explain it later, because plot hole.
Maybe the Kefta is only as strong as the person who's wearing it.
No, because even when Alina wasn't strong, she had on that Kefta in the beginning of Shadow and Bone.
But she had hidden strength, though. She didn't know that she was super strong, but she was internally.
Well, maybe, but all I know is that Lee better explain. Explain yourself, girl.
How the Darkling got shot.
Right. They do end up escaping with Sternum and his crew, but in my mind, I'm like, you just escaped the devil you know for the devil you don't.
Exactly. Another thing that happens is, in this scuffle, Ivan is gone. He didn't die.
Oh, yeah. That was so insignificant. I was just like,
good. It was like a quick one. I think it was less than a sentence. And I was like, oh.
But that's how Lee likes to do it to her characters. You remember Lexi?
Aww,
God rest his soul.
But yeah, so like Ivan's dead. Genya can't believe he's dead. So like she runs up. At this exact moment is when Alina's like, come with us. Like she offers that olive branch and she's like, come with us.
She shouldn't have.
And Genya like has a split second, but then it's like, no, just go. Just go. And so they leave. They end up leaving with all the mutineers and they're out.
Trash. Don't offer that bitch anything. Chapter 5.
Oh gosh.
They give Alina a moment to like kill the dragon, and now she has another amplifier and she's trying to decide whether she's going to don that amplifier.
Even though she's the one that killed it, she could gift it to somebody, give it to somebody else. But as she says, she would end up having control over that person. Just like the Darkling has control over her with the stag amplifier. So she's just kind of in a predicament right now of like, what do I do? And then she like takes Mal over, right? Because Sturmhold gives her a book that he stole from the Darkling.
Yeah.
And it turns out it's the book that what's his name gave her.
The Apparat gave her.
Yes, the
Life of Saints.
Apparat. Yeah.
And apparently he is still alive.
Thanks!
He is the leader of the Sun Summoner cult.
So basically he gives her that and she's like looking at him. He's like, I don't know why the Darkling would have this in his possession, but he did. And she starts looking through it. She looks at the specific page and she sees a photo of a specific saint. And it has, in the back, it has the stag that they killed. It has the dragon that they just killed. And then she's looking further into it and she's like, oh, shit.
She's like, it's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's a bird. It's a bird.
It's a third amplifier. That's what it is.
But in my mind, I'm like, duh, bitch, things come in threes.
Exactly. That shouldn't have been surprising, honestly.
Sternum also tells them that he is delivering them to Westrovka, to his client. She's like, oh no, you can't take us back there. And he's like, are you so eager to escape your country again? Like kind of shaming her into it. Because after she left, everything pretty much went to shit.
Yeah.
And a lot of that was her fault too.
No, we're not going to sugarcoat this shit because I don't like her. Nah, it's her fault. It's her fucking fault.
Yeah, but eventually she does, well, we get to chapter 6 and she's talking about everything with Mal. And Mal's like, I can't believe you want to go after a third amplifier. Like, how are you really this dumb? Like,
when I tell you, I rolled so fucking hard.
Me too. I was like, bro, she's literally telling you this is your only chance to beat the Darkling. Isn't that what you want? That's what you want, right? You want to stop running. You want to be able to live your life. She wants to be able to use her powers without the fear of being discovered. So this is the best opportunity. And I don't understand why he doesn't understand.
This was another reason why I rolled so hard was because as she's like trying to comfort him and tell him, as you said, like, this is what we're fighting for. We're trying to get rid of the Darkling. This is probably the only way to do it. She like uses her powers real quick, right? Like when she goes to hold his face in like a caress. Okay.
That's after. Yeah.
Because I know what this shit too, and I was just like,
bruh, I know what you're talking about though, because they make the amplifier for her. She puts it on, and she cannot control all the light that's coming out of her.
Right,
and he's afraid of her.
Yeah.
When she goes to touch him, like you said, and use her power, he like flinches, and she's like,
yeah.
What the fuck? It's still me. And that's when in the back of her mind, she can hear the Darkling like, he'll never understand you. He'll always fear what you are.
And he's right. He's fucking right.
But Shawty want to learn the hard way, so...
Shawty!
So, ending chapter 6, she has the choker and she has the bracelet of scales.
It's like a Wonder Woman cuff.
Yes, but she also says too, which I found was very interesting. She said, "Okay, I have the necklace, I have the cuff on my left hand, and now my right hand feels bare, like I'm incomplete." And I was like, "Oh, you better get that in check, because that power gonna fuck you up."
That thought process is gonna fuck you up.
And also, are you any different from the Darkling right now? No,
not even a little bit. We do get in chapter 7. We do get the like the twins' backstory.
Yeah, so is it Tolia and Tamar? Is that how you pronounce it?
I think that's how you pronounce it. I think so. That's how I was pronouncing it. So I think so.
Okay.
But yeah, so you get their backstory, and it's a little sad. Like their mom passed away and things like that. But like, I really like the blossoming friendship between her and Tamara.
Yeah.
I was like,
just Tamar.
Oh, is it Tamara? Sorry.
Yeah.
But like, just her and the blossoming friendship between her and Tamara was like really cute. I was like,
it is, isn't it?
I was like, this is the female friend she needs.
Exactly, not Genya.
I do want like a redemption situation for Genya.
Fuck that bitch. I say that now, but when she gets her redemption arc, I'll be like, But yeah, Tamara's like teaching her how to spar and stuff like that, training and stuff, because she's gone a couple of months without doing her routine. So
yeah,
exactly. She also at some point tries to ask Tamar about Sternum's past.
Oh, and then this bitch changed the subject. She changed the subject.
Yes.
She's like, you see that tree over there?
Bro, yes. I was like, if bitch, you are so obvious.
Facts. It was extremely obvious how much they were trying to avoid talking about this man's past.
Yes, and that also made me wonder, like, who was his client?
Ooh.
So
also, Sternholm, he flirts a lot.
So much.
And I like it.
All right, bro. I don't have time for a third love interest. Don't do it to me.
Oh, yes.
Don't do it to me. In chapter 7 as well, they also finally reach West Ravka. Sturmhond and the TNT twins and some of the other crew take them on this thing called the Hummingbird, which is like a boat/plane.
When I was reading this, I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, and I was like, okay, that's cool. But then he's like, yeah, we're going straight into the fold. And Alina's like, what? My thing weird.
Well, her and Mal were like, hold up, what? Why are we going into the fold? Why are we doing that?
You were literally the most powerful Grisha on Earth right now, and you're worried about going into the fold?
Legitimate? That's what Sternhold tells her. And I was like...
So what are you sitting here screaming for? Bitch, do your job.
That's that Mal
do your job.
That's that Mal influence. That's why she fucked.
Right.
No.
He's like, I can't. I'm hopeless. Like, oh, God. Get her some milk. She needs some milk.
Oh, my gosh.
The fact that she's just not sure of herself is...
Yeah. But, like, I will say that, like, once they do get into the fold, it kind of gets a little hectic.
Yeah. That's their fault, though.
No, I agree. But at the same time, I was, like, sitting there, I was like, a lot of the shit that went down could have been avoided. If y'all just if y'all just would have went straight the way you're supposed to.
Right. Like, why are you enticing these monsters to come after you?
Right.
He's all like, oh, they hunt us. We should hunt them. And the crew's like, yeah. And I'm like, y'all are fucking dumb.
And Mal's like sitting there. He's like, well, you know, one of them almost killed me. I kind of want to see what the guns do. And this is who you want to spend the rest of your life with. Yeah.
Alina also says that when they enter the fold this time, she feels very different, like it's alive, like it's welcoming her back.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's weird.
That's suspicious.
And she also says when they are killing the Volcra, including because they found a Volcra nest, and she saw like the little nasty little winged bat babies.
But she says that like when they start killing them, she doesn't hear Volcra screams. She hears human screams.
Right.
Which that makes me sit, now thinking about it, the connection that she has with the Darkling, and the Darkling being the creator of the Volcra, is that what he hears when they kill the Volcra?
I mean, originally, I don't know. Now, I would say probably.
Because now I'm wondering about it. I'm like, is it that she was hearing what the Darkling hears when they kill them? Does he hear that when he goes into the fold and they kill the Volcra?
That's interesting, because I always assumed, like, at least in the first book, before he got his extra powers, I assumed that he just heard what everybody else heard, which was the screeching and the and shit like that.
But now that we know that they're not going to touch him, or they're not going to eat him, because they recognize him.
They're a part of him.
Correct.
And Alina is also a part of him and a part of them. So, yeah, damn, it's kind of fucked.
Right. That's what I'm wondering now. Is like, is that the case?
I didn't think about that.
So we move on to chapter 8, and basically, like, wait, this is where they run into the nest, right? In chapter 8.
Oh shit, yeah. So chapter 8 is where they run into the nest.
Yes, yeah. So they run into the nest in chapter 8 instead. So as we said, like, this whole shit ensues. They basically, like, Strumhold and Mal and stuff want to, like, and of course the crew, they, like, want to test out the guns that Strumhold has, and so they just go after the nest. This, of course, causes Alina to, like, hear screams and stuff. But as this is happening, she sees the Darkling in front of her. And we all know he's not in front of her. So
it's a mirage.
Is it a mirage, or is that she's connected to him in some way and he's, like, projecting himself so she can see him?
It's like that. It's the same thing in A Court of Silver Flames, where Bria Lynn and Nesta had that Kylo Ren and Rey moment. It's the same thing. Yeah. And he tells her, he's like, you've become quite the little killer. And I was like, oh.
That was him basically being like, so you me, huh? You me.
Right. So you realize we're not that different. You realize that we are the same.
The same.
Yeah. And of course that causes a goddamn panic attack. She shrinks in all of her light again. And now it's full on panic. People are getting attacked. Mal's trying to, like, get her to, like, snap out of it. When she finally, like, throws the light back up, one of the crew members is injured. One of the squallers that was helping keep the goddamn thing afloat. His whole arm is ripped out the socket, bitch. Just
like Jaws. Jaws came out. Shoo. That's
right. So they end up crash landing in the pond.
Basically. Yeah.
And everybody makes it, which is actually miraculous.
Surprising.
Yeah, that's surprising. I expected at least one person to die. And they were yelling at her. They were like, yo, what the fuck happened? She's like, I don't know. Ask your captain. How about you just tell us what the fuck happened? Because yes, it's his fault. It is his fault. But also, you need to be honest.
That was immature to me. That was so immature to me. Where she said there, she's like, ask your captain. No, bitch, you're the one that shrunk in the light. Granted, I understand. I get that the captain shouldn't have gone after the nest. But you shrunk in the light, which made it easy for the Volcra to attack everybody.
Right. And that's something that cannot be afforded when you are in battle. Like, you need to be on your shit.
Exactly. And then what I liked about Strumhold was he didn't even try to, like, bicker with her or question it. He took responsibility for his actions with the nest.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh. I was like, is this another crush? I was like, this is another crush.
Not right another
here.
Crush.
I was like, this is it.
It was basically the first time that he was actually serious.
Yeah.
Because the whole time he's, like, playing.
He's been a funny guy.
Joking and and when he turns around to face them, his face is different.
Ooh. When I read this, I was like, hold up, what? So, like, okay, when he's first described, he's described with muddy green eyes, ruddy brown hair, like a pointed chin, and a very prominent nose. Yeah, a very prominent crooked nose. Yeah. And then when he turns around after coming out of the lake or pond or whatever, they're like, his nose is still slightly crooked, but nothing like the busted lump it had been. His hair is actually dark gold. Instead of muddy green eyes, they're actually hazel. Mm-hmm. And, like, Alina in the back of her head is like, and he's handsome. I was like, ah!
Right. I was like, first off, Alina.
You can't have all of them, all right? You can't have all of them. You cannot. Fuckboy
This is not Pokemon. You can't catch them all.
Gotta catch them all.
Right. This is one at a time, please.
Exactly.
But yeah, I was just like, who the fuck is this? I knew they were being lied to. Not really. But I thought that for sure they were all gonna like, I don't know what I thought, but I just like, from the secrecy of his crew, I was just like, something is fishy about this situation. Now, I don't know if they're actually going to use Alina like the way the Darkling wanted to use Alina, or if they're going to actually try to get them to help her with their calls. Mm-hmm. But we find out it might be the latter. They might want to use Alina because this boy reveals himself as the king of Ravka's second son, Nikolai. I was like, ain't this some shit? And then he says, but don't worry, I didn't return home empty-handed. And that's what really worried me. I was like, oh shit, you should have stuck with the devil you knew, bitch.
The Darkling.
Bruh, yeah. I don't know what his plans are for her, but it sounds like from that he plans on using her to try to defeat the Darkling. And she didn't want to come back at all. Like, we know this. She didn't want to fucking be involved.
No.
So this bitch gets so mad. She hauls off and punches him in the face. I was like,
and that was the end of the chapter.
Thinking before we act.
So yeah, that very, very interesting. Any predictions?
I think I have. Well, before we found out that Sternum was Nikolai, I thought that his client was Bagra. But now that we found out that he's a prince, his client is probably the goddamn king. And then I think the Nichivoya biting Alina. I know that they had a connection beforehand, like where they could feel each other and he could use her magic. But I feel like when the Nichivoya bit Alina in the shoulder, it gave her an extra connection to the Volcra in the fold. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense. But those are the only two that I have. What about you?
I think so. This is because we watched the show.
No, don't bring the show into it.
No, but see, that's the thing. This is because we had watched the show. Mm-hmm. And so I was thinking that maybe the client could have possibly been one of the guys from the Six of Crows.
Yeah, but my thing is like, why wouldn't they then bring them to Ketterdam?
But I didn't think that far ahead. I was just thinking, oh, maybe it's like, the people of Six of Crows. Maybe they should have taken her to where they're located at. But gotcha. that was my thought process initially when I read it, because I was like, okay, that would be like somebody out of left field. We don't really know who that is. That could be like the surprise client. But now knowing, that was before coming to realize that he's the second prince. Now that we know he's the second prince, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, it would make sense that like the client might actually be his dad or, something like that.
You know what? That's funny because when I first read about him being Sternum, fuck it. When I first read about him being Sternum and him being a privateer and him having that crew, that's where I initially thought that the Six of Crows characters were going to pop up.
That would have made sense. That definitely would have made sense. Also, in the book, it says Sternholm, his name, Sternhold, broken down is Stormhound, which then means Wolf of Waves. That's when she realized, she's like, oh shit, it makes sense.
That's the king's son. Yeah.
It makes sense. That's when she realizes, she's like, basically in her head, she's like, I should have put two and two together. I really should have been.
Alina has a one-track mind.
No, she really does. She's a real idiot. She's a real idiot. That's all I gotta say.
No, dead ass. So that's the first 8 chapters of Siege and Storm. Alina has not fucking changed. Mal has not fucking changed.
You would have thought she would have grown a little bit, especially after the experience that she had.
Right back into her shell, and I'm like,
oh my god, I know. Right back into the Mal shell. That's where she went.
Yeah,
she had cracked open out of it when she forgot him, and now she's back in the Mal shell.
It's like she doesn't know how to be herself and also love him at the same time. Trash.
Correct. Trash. Because she's too scared to be herself, thinking that he'll leave her. Because he's already given her the little hints that he would. Do you know what I mean? That's why.
Trash.
Tomatoes.
Trash panda.
Tomatoes.
So, yeah, that's it for this episode. For the next episode, we are going to be reading chapters 9 through 14.
With that, I just want to say thank you guys for joining us. I hope you enjoyed the episode. We will be back next week. We love you guys, and always stay YA at heart.
Bye.